Okay. Flexibility. Now, I want you guys to pay attention very closely here. Very closely. Flexibility is a very different concept to, again, wait, there's nothing on the screen. Okay, it's a very, very interesting concept. So we have gone over some concepts so far, Rafa, Nasab, and Jar. Now this can get a little confusing if you don't follow along. Okay, I'm going to simplify it for you. Again, I don't read everything that's here. So far we have discussed that how an ism is differentiated according to the forms of status, right? Rafa, Nasab, Jar, Una, Ina, Ani, Aini. Now we're going to go over the flexibility of an ism. Now what does the flexibility refer to? The flexibility is the study of to what extent an ism's status can change. Now I want you to add something there. I want you to add the following. We said what? Flexibility is a study of to what extent an ism's status can change. Copy. Flexibility is a study of to what extent an ism's status can change, i.e., what will make it heavy or light. What will make an ism heavy or light? So we'll go over how some categories of isms will not be differentiable in status, while some will never be jar, and while others will be very apparent as to what their status is. So I want to give you an example of 3 categories of people. 3 categories of people. The first are American citizens. They can do whatever they want, they can fly wherever they want, they can work wherever they want, they can do whatever they want to do. They have a passport, or they may have a green card, whatever the case may be. They have a permanent residence status in the United States and can stay here and be part of the fabric of society as they wish. Now, fully flexible isms fall under that category. They are American citizens. What does that mean? Well, that means they can be rafa, nasab, or jar. So let's write that down. The first category we said is what? Fully flexible ism. And we said what about fully flexible isms?
American citizens.
They are American citizens. Is that a ringtone, or is that actually real birds outside? Because it sounds like the same bird making the same noise over and over again.
Yeah, it's actually
Oh. Okay, that's fine. It's one annoying bird. Okay, so I'm just like, man, the thing just keeps chirping the same exact way. Okay, fully flexible isms. We said what? To define them. Fully flexible isms can be rafa, nasab, or jar. That's what that technically means. They can be rafa, nasab, or jar. Now, at the same time, I want to add one more thing, and that's also in your book. By default, all isms are assumed to be fully flexible unless proven, keyword is proven, otherwise. Now here's my question. What type of isms are considered fully flexible. Let's go over it here. Number one is any ism that has a tanween. It is considered what? Fully flexible. Muslimun, katibun, rahiman, salimin, imanun, mu'minan, an, in is considered a fully flexible ism. If it has tanween, it means that it can also get what? An, in. It can move around in its status. Number two are three-letter names. Three-letter names. They get what? They are considered what category? Fully flexible. Lutun, Nuhun. And I'll go over why this is important in just a moment. Now, what did I say? Three-letter names are considered fully flexible. What was the first category of words that are fully flexible? With tanween. So let me ask you this. If a word does not have tanween, can it be fully flexible? By default, if a word has tanween, it is considered fully flexible. So that means the opposite is what? If it does not have tanween, it is not fully flexible. If it does not have tanween, most likely it does not have fully flexible. But that's if the default status of it is supposed to be tanween. Remember I mentioned what? A word is considered fully flexible if what? If it has tanween, by default. And I said what? A word has tanween by default. A word is heavy unless proven light. Right? A word is heavy unless proven light. When a word has tanween, it's considered heavy. An ism is considered heavy unless proven light. Meaning, if an ism has tanween, by default, there must be a reason to make it light. There must be a reason to make it light. So if it does not, and if it has tanween, it is considered fully flexible. Now, we just went over heavy and light, and we're going over flexibility right now. So it's a little bit to take in, but pay close attention here. I'm going to go back to the PDF. The third category, which is considered heavy, or I'm sorry, that's fully flexible, are Arab prophets. Believe it or not, there are only 4 Arab prophets. The rest of the prophets in the Quran, the 21 remaining prophets, are not considered Arab. And the Arab prophets are, number 1, Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Number 2 is Salih alayhi salam. The third is Shu'aib alayhi salam. And Hud alayhi salam. Now let me ask you, what was the second category of words I said was going to be fully flexible?
That's what my question was. Why Hud is not in the second category?
Exactly. You see, 3-letter words, 3-letter names. Now let me ask, is Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, is his letter more than three letters? Mm-hmm. Is Salih, his name, more than 3 letters? Mm-hmm. And is Shu'aib's name more than 3 letters? Mm-hmm. Now what type of names are these?
Arab names.
Arab names. Arab names. And what did I say? That how many prophets are considered Arab? 4. So the 4 Arab prophets, if it is an Arab name generally, it's considered to get tanween. Now hold on to that thought because I'm going to go over something more. Number 4, any ism with an alif lam is considered what? Fully flexible. Any ism with alif lam is considered fully flexible. Now, if you look at the word al-munafiqina, what's it going to be? It's going to be fully flexible. Now I'm going to bring up something, if I can find it really quickly. Okay, moving back. Any ism with an alif lam. Let's write this down and we'll go over them in depth. What type of isms are considered fully flexible? What was the first category? Any ism with tanween. Second category? Good. 3-letter names. Third one? Arab prophets. Fourth? Isms with alif lam. Now, category 1 is quite straightforward, right? If it has tanween, makes sense. Category number 4 is also straightforward. So for example, if it has alif lam. Now, this is where the 3-letter name issue comes in, as well as with the Arab names. Did I add this in my book? I'm just trying to see. Then this one is considered thing. What I want you to do is I want you to put a star on both of this and this, because we're going to come back to it in like 10 minutes. To understand this category, I need to explain the second category to you. And the second category that we're going to go over are non-flexible isms. And I call them illegal aliens. Meaning what? They are here illegally. If you're here illegally, I don't want to know. They are here illegally. They can't technically work. They have to do everything under the table, and they're not recognized. They're not recognized as citizens of the country. Now, in this category, you don't know basically the status of the ism. You don't know the status of the ism by just looking at it. For example, Zakaria, Yahya, Isa, Musa, Al-Wusta. So I'll write that here as well. You don't know their status by just looking at the word. So for example, Musa, Rafa Nasab or Jar. Do you know? The last letter is Alif Maqsura here. How about Wusta, which means middle? Do you know? You don't. How about Isa? Isa. Do you know? You don't. So for non-flexible isms, there's only one category of non-flexible isms, and that is any ism ending in alif maqsura, which is this guy. It's the ya without the dots. It's actually an alif which is bent out of shape. That's what it really is. It's called alif maqsura. So if it ends in alif maqsura, it's considered non-flexible. Good. Third category. Now this is where it gets tricky. This is where it gets tricky. What did we define the partly flexible ism as? I'm sorry, what do we define the fully flexible ism as? It gets? Okay, so now I'm going to make it, it gets tanween. I'm going to make it even more inclusive. It can be rafa, it can be nasab, and it can be jar, right? It can be rafa, it can be nasab, and it can be jar. A non-flexible ism cannot be rafa by plain sight, cannot be nasab by plain sight, and cannot be jar by plain sight. Is that a fair definition? But it still has grammatical status. Still has grammatical status. A partly flexible ism is a student visa. A student visa. When it comes to a partly flexible ism, and it being a student visa, it means what? That it can do some things and it cannot do other things. You can perhaps work on campus and not outside of campus. You're allowed to maybe go back on specific, well, generally you're not allowed to go back. Maybe you can make a way to go back home and visit your country. Maybe you can do some work after you graduate conditionally. Whatever the case may be, there are certain conditions to get specific grammatical statuses. Now, what is a partly flexible ism generally? Might as well read it. When it comes to dealing with flexibility, this will be the most relevant question. Why? Meaning, why is something going to be partly flexible? That's all jargon. So this is a category, partly flexible, wherein you can only tell if the word is rafa or nasab, but cannot tell if it is jar at face value. Okay? So let's add that into the notes. A partly flexible word is rafa or nasab at face value, very distinctly. But you cannot tell if it is jar at face value. And thirdly, partly flexible words will never have kasra. Actually, I'm going to combine these two. Will never have kasra, so you cannot tell if it is jar at face value. And number three, always is light. Never tanween. So now this will start to make some more sense. There are two types of partly flexible isms. Number one, non-Arab names. And as you progress in your study, we'll learn what names are Arab and what names are not Arab. So let's look at this. Non-Arab names. Fir'auna, Fir'aunu. Fir'aunu, Fir'auna. Ismailu, Ismaila. And we'll take a look at it from the Quran. وإذ يرفع إبراهيم القواعد من البيت وإسماعيل. وإذ يرفع إبراهيم. It is what? Light, right? And usually a light ism means partly flexible. Ismailu is what? Light. Now we mentioned what initially? That an ism is supposed to be heavy unless proven light. This is one of the reasons an ism is light, because it is partly flexible. Do another example. Inna Qaruna. Qarun. Inna Qaruna kana min qawmi Musa. Qarun was a specific person, but he was not Arab. And we said what type of names are not considered, or rather what type of names are considered partly flexible? Non-Arab names. Non-Arab names are considered flexible. Now, this was the point that I wanted to come to. And there's one more thing I'll go over, and then we'll go back. The second category are names of specific places. Specific places. For example, Makkah. Makkah too is what it will be in Rafa. In Nasab and Jar, same thing, Makkata. Yathribu, Yathriba, Yathriba. Ta'ifu, Ta'ifa, Ta'ifa. Now this is for what? Partly flexible words. Now I want you to go back to non-flexible, or rather fully flexible words. I want you to go back to that section. So when it comes to understanding Arab prophets and three-letter names, Arab prophets, we mentioned what were they? Okay. Salihun. What else? Shu'aybun and Hudun. So here's the rule. If your name is Arab, generally, you're okay. Meaning you can get tanween. Generally. If you're any one of these three categories, you can get tanween. But let's say you're not in Arab, right? Let's say you're not in Arab, and you happen to have a three-letter name. Your name happens to be Nuh. The Arab said, you know what? Even though you're not Arab, we like you because you have three letters in your name. So we'll give you citizenship. And you can be fully flexible. Because generally, what did we say about the non-Arab names? They are? What are non-Arab names generally? Partly flexible. But if you're Arab, Hud is an Arab name. So we said by default, the Arab prophets, or the Arab names for the most part, are considered what? Fully flexible. So Hud, it doesn't matter whether he's 3 letters, 4 letters, 5 letters, he's an Arab. So he gets tanween on his name. He gets tanween on his name usually. Same here. But for example, if your name is Lut, Lutun, not an Arab, but we like you because you have 3 letters in your name. Now you may ask me, Brother Nihal, where in God's name do you get these rules from? This is how the Arabs have always thought. This is how the Arabs generally constructed their language by. Very interesting. Now that's a whole other study how it came to be, but that's just what the rules are. That's how they defined it. And then that was that. So I want to write down a principle to help you guys understand this. All non-Arab names, all Arab names are what? Partly flexible, right? I'm sorry, fully flexible, you're right. Are fully flexible. And all non-Arab names are considered partly flexible. But if you happen to have a non-Arab name, so yeah, which is 3 letters, then you are invited into the Arab name club and get to be fully flexible. Yay. Oops. Now there are a section of words on page 26. Let's take a look at them. Laylatin. Fully, partly, non. Which one? Why? Good. Haqqan. Fully. Good. Qari'atin. But it's tanween. Oh, good. Qaruna. Why? Non-Arab name. Very good. Oh, I got repeated accidentally. That got repeated a lot of times. Okay. Kutubin. Fully. Let's go through some verses which I wanted to pick up. Tawbah. Let's go through some of the older surahs. All right. وَيْلٌ لِكُلِّ هُمَزَةٍ لُمَزَةٍ. Let's do these one by one. Waylun, partly, fully, non. Good, fully. Humazatin. Good. Lumazatin. Good. Malan. All right. Al-Hutamati. Why partly? So we said no tanween means partly? What did we say that, fully flexible, what does that mean? What status can it get?
It can get all 3.
Good. And then partly can get what?
Cannot have kasra.
Very good. Does this have kasra? It does. So can it be partly? No. Alif lam means what? Fully. Remember? If it has alif lam, means it's fully flexible. How about al-hutamatu? Why? But it's rafa. Okay, good. How about narullahi al-munqadatu? Which one? Which one? What word is fully? Al-munqada. How about Allah? Very good. Fully flexible. Don't limit Allah, right? Allah is fully flexible. How about allati tattali'u ala al-af'idati? Af'ida. What do you guys think? Fully? Good. Why?
Because it has alif lam.
Good. How about mu'sadatun? Fully. Why? Good. How about amadin? Fully. Good. Mumaddadatin? Fully. Okay. Now I'm gonna make it a little bit more interesting for you guys. Context. This is what I was looking for. Okay. وَوَهَبْنَا لَهُ إِسْحَاقَ وَيَعْقُوبَ. How about Ishaq? Why? Non-Arab name. Good. So I'll make it blue. How about Yaquba? Why? Good. Kullan Hadaina. Kullan. Why? Tanween. Good. Wanuhan Hadaina. Wanuhan. Why? He's a non-Arab. Ah, very good. 3 letters. Fully, right? Fully? Okay. ومن ذريته داود وسليمان وأيوب ويوسف وموسى وهارون. Let's go one by one. Dawood? Partly. Why? Good. Sulaymana? Partly. Why? Good. How about Ayyuba? How do you know? Very good. See, the point of the class is for you to think and be able to come to the reason why it is. Because it's non-Arab. And how do we know it's non-Arab? Because we said there's only 4 Arab prophets. So by default, everyone else is what? Non-Arab. Yeah. I actually told this to someone in one of the other classes. There's this one guy that used to come to the class, flunked all the exams. He used to come sit in the front row and do nothing but argue during every single moment he could. He would raise his hand and just play devil's advocate. So he's like, what proof in the Quran do you have that all the prophets, there are only 4 Arab prophets? I said, this rule that I'm teaching you is my proof. He goes, no, but what about in the Quran? I'm like, brother, what are we learning? Like, are we in an Quranic Arabic class, right? So we're learning this. He goes, no, but what about in the Quran? And then somehow he led that to saying that Taraweeh should be recited in English. Right? Well, what would the world be without our crazies? Yusuf. Good. Why? Musa. So Musa is what? Non-Arab. Okay? But it's not flexible because the alif maqsura takes precedence over it being non-Arab. So it's what we said? Not flexible. Wa Haruna? Partly. Good. كذلك نجزي المحسنين Fully. Why? What did we use for fully? Green? Okay. Okay. Oops. There you go. All right. وزكريا ويحيى وعيسى وإلياس. Okay, let's do this. وزكريا? What's Zakaria? Non-Arab name. Okay, good. So believe it or not, it's really weird. This is technically supposed to have alif maqsura, but it doesn't have alif maqsura. Why? I don't know. But it's supposed to, but it's just written like that for whatever reason. So if you were to put on an exam, let's say, hint, exam, if you put on an exam either non-Arab or you put partly flexible, I wouldn't make a difference. But I'm going to write non-Arab name. What color was non-Arab name? You guys remember? What was partly flexible? Look, okay, good. ويحيى, not non-flexible, good. وعيسى, good. وإلياس, be very careful.
Fully.
Why fully?
No, that's part of the name.
Very good. She's right. It's part of his name. It's not Al-Ilyas. Ilyas is the name. Ilyas is his name. So it's going to be what? Partly flexible, which is what? And all these colors. Kullun? Green, right? Salihin? Good. وإسماعيل واليسع ويونس ولوطا. Ismail? Partly flexible. واليسع? But there's alif lam on it. Good. ويونس? Okay, good. ولوطا? Fully, why? Very good. كلا? Why? Good. عالمين? Fully, why? Yeah, either alif lam or ina. All right, very good.
What does the Luton read? Alif? What does it do? It's mean over the ball.
Put tanween on the top? Oh, no, because it's going back up here. وَوَهَبَنَا لَهُ, right? So this is a bit more advanced, but it's the maf'ul to habna lahu. So lutan. So sakin only comes on a specific word. If it's sakin, it won't change to a sakin. It'll stay lutan. It becomes nasab because it's a detail. Right, there's one more I wanted to find, and then I'll give you guys a break. What's it called? Uh-oh, it keeps freezing.
Everybody's online right now.
Who's everyone?
The world in the US.
Yeah, okay.
There's similar and bad.
Man, what was that word? Okay. Inna awwala baytin. Heavy? Fully. Good. Just checking for paying attention. Linnasi. Good. It's fully. There's actually an alif lam on here technically, but the alif dropped because someone added a lam at the beginning. It's fully. There's actually why? Because it's alif lam technically. Lalladhi bi bakkata. Now I'm gonna warn you. Bakka is what? Who knows? Exactly. It's the old name of Makkah. So if it's a place, what is it? Huh? Partly. Good. Place. Specific places are partly. How about Mubarakan? Fully. How about Hudan? Who says fully? This is technically not supposed to be here. Remember, can you tell any status here? It technically is supposed to be this. It's technically supposed to be that, but for whatever reason it's written like that. But it's actually fully. This is going to be the one exception you'll probably find when it comes to this specific word. When it comes to huda, huda lil muttaqin, it's still fully technically. How about lil alamina? Fully, good. وإذ قالت طائفة, anything here? Fully. Fully. يا أهل يثرب. يا أهل. Hold on, tell me first, heavy or light? Light, and it has to be light. Why? There has to be a reason. So the reason here is that it is, remember the word I told you? That if it is a mudaf, it is heavy. So in this place, it's a mudaf. Do you know what a mudaf is? You technically don't. So don't worry about it. But now the place here is yathrib. Partly. Why? Good. Specific place. Yathrib is the old name for Medina. لا مقام لكم فارجعوا ويستأذن فريق منهم النبي. Fully. Good. Alif Lam. فريق. Good. إن بيوتنا عورة. وما هي بعورة. Good. إن يريدون إلا فرارا. Good. I'm just going to do it up to here. وممن حولكم من الأعراب. الأعراب منافقون. منافقون. So what does that mean? Fully. Good. من أهل المدينة. Let me ask.
It's a name, it's a place, and entity has alif now.
Very good. But actually here, if it was partly flexible, what would it be? I'm sorry, if it was partly flexible, what could it not have? It cannot have kasra, right? If it's partly flexible. But here's my question. Is Medina not a real place? It's a specific place, right? So in Arabic, Medina is the name of a place, and it also refers to a place. So in Arabic, Al-Madina or Madinatun refers to any general city. But the asal place of Medina is not, its name is not Medina. It's Al-Madina Al-Munawwara. That's the actual real name of it. So when you're speaking about that Medina, then it would not be tanween, and it cannot have kasra. When you're specifically speaking about that Medina, Medina al-Munawwara, the illuminated city, or al-Madinatu Nabi, then that's a different story. But here we're speaking about just any general city. For example, in the Quran, okay, so what's the name of Egypt in Quran? Misr, right? Now in the Quran, there's places where it's Misru and there's places where it's Misrun. So Misrun, when it's with tanween, it actually means that it's part of, that it refers to the countryside. It just means the general land. But when it says Misra, udkhulu Misra, enter Egypt, it's a reference to a specific place. Udkhulu Misra, insha'Allah amin. So it's about whether something is a specific place as opposed to just a generic place. So Al-Madina here would be fully flexible.
Why is munafiquna fully? Yeah.
Una.
But it's not tanween. It wasn't one of those.
Was it? Fully flexible?
It's using the paragraph and having the
Okay. No, I don't. Okay. Yeah, there you go. I'll add it there. Una, Ina, Annie, Amy. Okay. مرضوا على النفاق لا تعلمهم. النفاق fully. نحن نعلمهم سنعذبهم مرتين. Fully. Why? أين. Singular, dual, or plural? Good. عذاب عظيم. Fully. Okay. Good job. It's 8:20. It's 8:29. Take a 5-minute break. We'll continue on this and then we'll break for Maghrib. I think 50. So I'll take 15 minutes, just introduce the next part of the lesson, and then we'll move on.
You want like
Oh, you are? Get me just a decaf. Cream, no sugar, small. Yeah, thanks. Brother's name, but his son is also there, yeah.
You want a better chair than that?
What's up?
You want a better chair?
No, I'm fine. Yeah, I'm good.